So, don't know when you're watching this, but I'm filming this as I'm getting set up to do some guitar recording, so I thought it might be useful to give a little bit of a behind the scenes thing. So, I haven't been doing home recording for all that long, and maybe it's been a couple of years now. And I remember when I first got started, it was seemed so absolutely overwhelming. So, at the end of the day, this whole process is a result of making choices. That's really all music is. The artist making a series of choices to achieve a particular result. And it can be an absolutely overwhelming number of choices if you're just getting into it. So, maybe, hopefully, this video is little bit better, a little bit of a guide as far as how I make the choices I make when doing my recordings. So anyway, first choice is what kind of guitar to use. So I generally use an Ibanez ARZ 800, came stock with EMG pickups. So there's all kinds of choices of guitars, all kinds of manufacturers, all kinds of pickup types. You got your single coils, you got your humbuckers, got your PX90s, got your active pickups. For making metal, I really like the active pickups. I know some people say that they like humbuckers or single coils because they have a little bit more of a dynamic tone. But really, it all comes down to personal taste. I think the tone's great. That I'm happy with the tone I get out of this guitar. Also, it's a Les Paul style body. I like the Les Paul body just because I think it's more comfortable to play. There's other different types of bodies that you may think is more comfortable. It's all personal choice, all personal preference. So the next choice is you have your guitar, now you need some sort of amplifier. If you're doing home recording, then having a amp sim is also an option. But I like the real thing. So I ended up using it's a PV 6505 mini head into a PV 2x12 cab. There's all kinds of choices as far as amps go. You don't need to get them in two pieces like this. They have single amps. Some amps are called solid states, others are tube amps. I went with a tube amp because I think it just kind of has this rich, saturated sound that you just can't really get in a solid state amp. But again, personal preference. And it also kind of depends on what you're going for. I'm going for just fucking crushing metal. If you want something like a little more subtle, Fender makes, legendary, guitar manufacturer, makes great amps. Marshall's, real renowned name when it comes to amps. There's like a few, at least in terms of metal, there's like a kind of like a few like new kids on the block. Rev Generators, really respected. My cabinets, maybe someday I might replace that with a Angle 2x12. I don't know. I'm happy with what I have, but anyway, and I guess I just also want to know that even like the way that you have the settings dialed in is a choice. So I like to cut a lot of the low end out and really kind of push the high end because I like sort of that chimey sound that you get from having a pick attack. But again, it's all personal choice. All things that, you kind of have to choose for yourself, and whatever sounds good. So, to even improve the tone, you can also have a pedal board. You can also have your dog's ball sitting next to the pedal board. Yeah, the pedals that you use, the way that you have those set up, those are also all choices too. Yeah, I know, Anders. They're all choices. Different pedal types, different pedal manufacturers. It just depends on what exactly it is that you're going for. For me personally, the pedals I use the most on here, my noise suppressor, all it does is stops the amp from making a sound when I'm not playing a note. It's kind of essential when you're playing a lot of high gain music. And my tuner, so I make sure that everything's in tune. Yeah, but I mean, there's all kinds of choices as far as what you want. You can almost make a guitar sound like just about anything. It's really amazing. So now that that's, kind of how I make my tone, now it needs to actually get recorded. So you have a choice as far as how you want to actually record the sound. What I do is I mic up my cab and record it onto my computer. There's ways you can just record it directly into the computer, but I prefer kind of the old-fashioned way. I can never quite get it to work right whenever I'm trying to plug directly into my computer. So anyway, I mic up my cab. The way I do it is more or less following some tips that Glenn Fricker gave on his channel. If you want to learn more about recording heavy guitars, I definitely recommend you check out Spectre Media Group. Anyway, what I do is, that's a Shure SM57 on the left, a Shure SM52A Beta on the right, and the two different types of microphones capture different frequencies. So I'm using two different types of microphones to just kind of capture like the full sound. And what I do is I aim the microphone towards the edge of the dust cap, place the microphone as close to the speaker as I can. I mean, they're pushing up against that mesh screen there. And when it comes time for me to record, I'm going to throw a moving blanket over the top of the microphone and the cab to kind of create like an isolated sound. So there's that. So the microphones go into a interface. That's a Focusrite Scarlett i2i. It's a just 2-channel interface. Works great. I think if you're, kind of in the position I am, just doing this as a hobby, 2-channel interface, perfect, fantastic. Exactly what you need. I know if you're like a drummer, on the other hand, and you really want to get the best sound, you're probably going to need more like a 4-channel or maybe like an 8-channel if you really want to be good. But I mean, I think just for like guitar, and I mean really even for like basic drum recording, 2-channel, perfect, fantastic. So finally, for the recording, you need what's called a digital audio workstation to actually work with the sound files. So I use a program called Reaper. I know there's a lot of other choices out there as far as what you can use, but I think that Reaper's great. It was affordable for the license, kind of a high learning curve, but yeah, I think it works fine. So anyway, quick rundown. Give this video a like, share, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Hope this was useful or helpful. Until next time, be good to each other.